It's late. The house is quiet. You pull back the covers, settle in, and within minutes, your dog is there. Curled against your legs, pressed into your side, breathing slowly in the dark. It's one of the warmest feelings in the world. And almost every owner tells themselves the same story. They just like the warmth, or the comfort, or the company. As a medical doctor, I review every piece of content on this channel for accuracy. And I want to tell you something the science makes very clear. That story is incomplete. What your dog is doing every night beside you runs far deeper than comfort. It's rooted in biology, in ancient instinct, and in a bond that researchers are only now beginning to fully measure. And there's one thing I need you to stay for. Because if your dog used to sleep with you and suddenly stopped, most owners assume it means nothing. The real reason, which we'll get to at sign 7, is something you genuinely need to hear. Sign 1, it's not who feeds them. Here's what most people believe. Dogs bond with whoever feeds them. It sounds logical. You fill the bowl, they follow you around. But that explanation falls apart the moment you actually test it. Dogs don't tally treats. They don't keep score of who gave them the most. What they track is something far subtler and far more powerful. Whose behavior is the most predictable? The person who responds consistently, who doesn't shift moods without warning, who shows up the same way most of the time. That person becomes the one your dog's nervous system files under safe. And safety for a dog isn't passive. It's permission. Permission to relax. Permission to stop scanning the environment for threats. Permission to play, to explore, to simply exist without being on guard. This means the person who forgets to buy the food this week, but remains emotionally steady, can outrank the person who never misses a meal, but brings unpredictable energy into the room. Your dog isn't watching the bowl. They're watching you. Sign 2 explains exactly what they're looking for when they do. Sign 2. They bond with whoever they can read. Your dog is, at their core, a fluency machine. They are drawn, powerfully and consistently, to the person they can decode the fastest. Steady voice, readable body language, no sudden shifts in mood or energy. The person who is most legible becomes the person your dog gravitates toward. Research into canine social cognition has shown that dogs process human emotional cues with remarkable speed and accuracy, reading facial expressions, vocal tone, and body posture simultaneously, in real time. A person who is emotionally unpredictable, kind one moment, tense the next, creates cognitive work for your dog. Their brain has to stay in a constant state of reading and recalibrating. A person who is consistent gives your dog's brain permission to rest. And the earlier in your dog's life this consistency was present, the deeper the imprint. If your dog had a steady, readable person during their first 6 months, when their brain was still building its entire social wiring, that signal isn't just strong. It became the template, the baseline against which every other relationship is measured. Sign 3 shows what this looks like under laboratory conditions. Sign 3, the secure base effect. Researchers at the University of Veterinary Medicine in Vienna brought dogs into an unfamiliar room and gave them a problem to solve. Manipulative toys, the kind where you nudge or paw something open for a treat. Not complicated. Then they changed one variable. Who else was in the room? When the dog's owner was sitting nearby, not helping, not speaking, just present, the dogs worked longer, tried more strategies, and engaged more fully with the problem. When the owner left and a friendly stranger sat in the same chair doing the same nothing, the dogs slowed down, lost interest, and gave up faster. The stranger was perfectly kind. The dogs didn't avoid them. They simply couldn't use them. Researchers call this the secure base effect, borrowed directly from human infant psychology. A baby won't explore a new room if their parent isn't nearby. Not because the parent is doing anything, but because their presence does something to the baby's nervous system. Lowers the alarm, enables curiosity. Your dog's chosen person works exactly the same way. You don't have to do anything. sitting on the couch counts. Sign 4 reveals the chemistry behind why this bond runs so deep. Sign 4. The chemistry is mutual. A team at Azabu University in Japan brought dogs and their owners into a room and let them simply be together for 30 minutes, petting, talking, existing in the same space. Before and after, they measured oxytocin levels in both the dogs and the humans. Oxytocin, sometimes called the bonding hormone, is the same chemical that floods a mother's system during skin-to-skin contact with her newborn. Dogs who spent more of those 30 minutes gazing into their owner's eyes had significantly higher oxytocin levels afterward. But the finding that changed everything was this: the owner's oxytocin spiked too. The dog's gaze triggered the human's chemistry. The human's softened behavior, the voice change, the reaching out, triggered the dog's. A loop, running in both directions, getting stronger every time it fired. The researchers then ran the same protocol with hand-raised wolves. Wolves raised by humans from birth, completely comfortable around people. The wolves did not sustain eye contact with their handlers. No oxytocin loop activated. Not in the wolves. Not in the humans. This mechanism evolved specifically in dogs during domestication, and it targets the exact chemical system that bonds a parent to a child. Your dog didn't learn to love you. They evolved to. If this is changing the way you see your dog right now, subscribe. Every video on this channel is built around what the science actually says. Comment below with your dog's name and tell me, who did they choose? I read every single one. Sign 5. Why you might not be their number one. This one is for the owners who do everything, and still watch their dog lose their mind over someone else. I need you to hear this, and it comes from the research, not from me trying to make you feel better. The secure-based data shows that the person a dog orients toward most isn't always the person who does the most. It's often the person whose nervous system most closely matches their own. A nervous dog gravitates toward the calmest presence in the house, even if that person forgets to fill the water bowl. An anxious dog attaches to whoever is most predictable, not necessarily whoever loves them the most. That's not a judgment of your effort. That's a nervous system finding a frequency it can read. And if your dog bonded deeply with someone else during their first critical months, that wiring runs deep. You didn't fail. You arrived after the foundation was already built. But here's what the Vienna research also tells us. The secure base effect is not permanent. Dogs can and do shift their primary attachment when routines change. When someone new becomes the steady, quiet, predictable presence. Not through grand gestures, through showing up, again and again, in ways your dog's nervous system learns to count on. Sign 6 shows exactly how deep this bond can go, inside the brain itself. Sign 6. The brain scan that proved it. A behavioral neuroscientist trained his dog to lie completely still inside an fMRI scanner, awake, unrestrained, no sedation, so he could watch her brain respond to the world in real time. She was the first. The project eventually grew to over 100 dogs. His team trained dogs to associate one object with food and another with verbal praise from their owner. Brain scans showed that in the majority of those dogs, the caudate nucleus, the brain's reward anticipation center, responded to their owner's praise with equal or greater intensity than it did to food. Then came the maze. Food down one path, their person down the other, 20 trials each. Most dogs chose their person, not all, but most, and the brain scans predicted it perfectly. The dogs whose caudate activated more strongly for praise were the exact same dogs who chose the human over the food bowl, trial after trial. Some dogs chose food every single time. Their owners understood them and loved them anyway. Every dog runs this calculation differently, but most, when given the choice, choose you. Sign 7. They carry you in their brain. This is the answer the science took a decade to find. And it's the one every dog owner has quietly been waiting for. Your dog doesn't know your name. They don't know your job, your history, your plans for the weekend. What they know is your scent, your rhythm, your nervous system signature. the specific, unrepeatable frequency of how you move through the world. And according to the fMRI data, the oxytocin loop research, the secure base studies, and everything that followed, they carry that signature in their brain the way you carry them in yours. The caudate nucleus that lit up for praise over food, the oxytocin loop that evolved specifically to bond your dog to you and you to them, the secure base effect that makes your mere presence enough to make them brave. None of this is metaphor. This is what the scans show. Your dog chose you not because you were perfect, not because you never made mistakes, not because you always remembered the food. They chose you because your presence does something to their nervous system that no one else's does. They chose you because you are, at the deepest biological level, their safe place. That question, did any of it register? Did they really know me? Has an answer now. Yes. They knew you. They always did. Your dog didn't choose you by accident. And now you know exactly why. If this changed the way you see your dog, like this video and subscribe for more doctor-reviewed, science-based content from JojoPet. Share it with someone who has ever wondered whether their dog truly loves them, because they deserve to know the answer too. Next week, we're covering something most owners completely misread: what your dog is actually trying to tell you when they follow you from room to room.